Hello, Internet. I'm Corion, your witch in residence here on YouTube. And some of you may not know, but I actually know a lot about architecture, and I have very interesting feelings on some architectural styles. So when the movie The Brutalist came out, I really wanted to discuss it, and I wanted to talk about how brutalist architecture actually does affect people and how some of the other architectural styles affect us a lot better. And I really think that if we put in more thought into how we design where we live, I think the world could be a far better place. Now, before we get too deep in, I just wanted to say that to all my channel members and subscribers, I really appreciate you guys, and I would really like to have more of you. So if you're not already subscribed, please consider doing so, and if you are subscribed, please consider commenting, liking, and sharing this out to anybody you can. It really helps the channel, and I would appreciate it. Thank you. Now, this film is directed by Ben Weatherly, which follows a married couple as they move into a newly constructed brutalist-style building. It combines elements of a thriller and horror with themes of architecture, isolation, and the psychological impact of modern urban design. The stark, oppressive nature of brutalist architecture plays a central role in the film's atmosphere. Now, when we talk about this film, we can't not talk about brutalist architecture as well, okay? I'm going to put up a few examples of brutalist architecture while I'm talking to give you an idea of what it looks like. But there are some key themes in this film. Isolation and alienation, right? The architecture itself is kind of one of the main characters in the film. It's cold, imposing. Often a brutalist designs feel inhospitable, and they create a sense of physical and emotional isolation for the characters and really everybody, right? It's designed with harsh angular lines and designed to feel monolithic and feel like the building itself is imposing. But what does that do to the people that are living there? Well, obviously it causes psychological and emotional strain. This is one of the major feelings of the film. And I feel like it also kind of mirrors the brutality sometimes in modern life, right? The broader effects of modernity, especially in like urban environments, the harshness involved is often seen as a reflection of the societal disconnection we have, right? I mean, look, how often have you guys felt alone and crushed under the weight of the things around you, right? And people design this to give off feelings of power and control over you, right? Just like people are trying to do in the story. It just has this kind of architecture, and living that environment crushes you down. It crushes down the characters, right? The other problem that brutalist architecture has is it often decays fairly quickly because people don't care about things they're not a part of, really. They get run down quickly, right? They deteriorate, and that deterioration mirrors the inner turmoil of the characters involved in the film. Now, I guess the best way to discuss this is I want to talk about what we can do to fix this, okay? And the truth of the matter is, brutalist architecture started happening post-World War II, okay? But there are two architectures that basically did the opposite and really kind of made people feel better. And I want to actually talk about those a little bit because I think they're things that a lot of people don't know about. So this is Art Deco, okay? It emerged in the early 20th century, so 1920 to 1940s, right? And it's known for its bold geometric shapes, sharp lines, and opulence. Think the buildings you would want to see in like a Great Gatsby movie, right? It's a reflection of the optimism and the prosperity of the Jazz Age, as well as the technological advancements of the time. It's often associated with glamour, luxury, modern things with motifs like zigzags, chevrons, and fluted columns, right? Pretty stuff, right? These are sleek, symmetrical designs with polished finishes, like chrome and glass, and bold colors like gold, silver, and black. You know the architecture that you sometimes see in the classy parties in like the Golden Age Batman stories, like that, okay? It's meant to be like a break from the past and embracing this futuristic vision of the future, right? It's iconic in places like the Chrysler Building in New York, and it's supposed to convey a sense of luxury and sophistication, okay? Now, this is Art Nouveau, and it's kind of the opposite, because Art Nouveau is more about fluid, organic lines and inspired by natural forms, right? This style grew out of a desire to break away with the historical societies and embrace kind of a natural modernity, but it also sought to reconnect with art and nature. Artists and architects would often incorporate flowing, curving lines that mimic plant shapes, flowers, and natural art forms, okay? Art Nouveau is characterized by curvaceous lines, intricate patterns, and ornate detailing. It's often with motifs like vines, flowers, flowing tendrils. Materials like wrought iron, glass, and wood are common, with a focus on craftsmanship and handcrafted elements. Okay? It's a reaction to the Industrial Revolution and mass production. It's emphasized by an individual's craftsmanship that was deeply tied to a desire for beauty and harmony with nature. It was super popular in Europe, especially in Paris and Vienna, and it was influenced, and like it influenced everything from architecture to graphic design, furniture, and even jewelry. Some of the most beautiful jewelry I've ever seen. The Hotel Tassal in Brussels by Victor Horta, or the Paris metro entrances were designed to be organic, flowing designs that naturally capture that essence, okay? Art Deco is sharp, geometric, and often symmetrical, while Art Nouveau is fluid, organic, and asymmetrical, okay? Now, here's the thing. There's actually been studies, and like deep studies, and I'll cite them in a second, about the differences between Art Deco, Art Nouveau, and Brutalism, and the effects they have on people. Okay. So, how does Art Deco, Art Nouveau, and Brutalism make us feel? How does it actually change our mood? Well, studies have shown that aesthetically pleasing environments can boost your mood and improve productivity, right? And contribute to feelings of well-being. Art Deco's use of the refined materials and stylized, harmonious designs contribute to a sense of calm confidence, right? As the human eye naturally enjoys symmetry and bold designs, right? They can provide and promote a sense of order and balance, right? This makes people feel more in control, and it's often linked to reduced stress and actually improved decision making, right? Now, Art Nouveau, actually, the natural forms and organic designs often promote feelings of calmness and relaxation. Art Nouveau's flowing and asymmetrical designs create a sense of harmony and balance, fostering creativity and reducing feelings of anxiety. The attention to beauty and detail also helps ground people in the presentness and it encourages mindfulness, right? Spaces designed in an Art Nouveau style actually tend to encourage introspection and creativity, making them ideal for activities that require focus, like art, design, or even quiet contemplation. This style might also help reduce mental fatigue, often by offering visual richness, that it engages when things can be a little overwhelming, right? Now, brutalism, on the other hand, studies have shown that environments with harsh, imposing, or hostile architecture can have actually a negative effect on our mood, leading to increased feelings of stress and unease. The scale and lack of visual warmth may exacerbate feelings of alienation and depression. Some people feel disconnected from the environment, which can lead to a sense of psychological discomfort. Okay? Think about it this way. We're talking about the differences here between a place that makes you feel confident and in control, the kind of place where you'd come in and you'd sit down to work and you feel like this is a place I can accomplish, working hard and doing, decent things. And Art Nouveau, when you walk in, you feel like this is a place where even if the job gets stressed, I feel better being in that environment. Okay? Think about it like a Art Deco would be kind of like the new style offices where you can move your desk around anywhere you need to be. The conference rooms are kind of in their own block, and everybody's encouraged to get up and move around the office and talk to your peers and collaborate with them. Art Nouveau is kind of like working in one of the like really old school coffee shops where it's all wood and the tables are kind of round and you're sitting at your laptop and there's this, you got a view of the outside and maybe it's like a scene of like a park or what have you. Brutalism architecture is a cube farm, right? It's a cubicle farm with, overseers sitting at a higher elevation so that they can see down into everybody's cube. All right. Now, when I talk about this stuff, I'm actually studying, I'm actually doing psychological studies. Like I'm actually researching them. And thankfully I have some great examples. Okay. The Impact of Architectural Study and Mood by Ulrich in 1984. Okay. I would recommend that. All right. I would recommend Psychological Responses to Built Environments by Evans from 2003. I think that one's a good one too. Environmental Preferences and Human Behavior, which is Kaplan and Kaplan 1989. I think those are where I would probably start. If you want to get really into like the weeds, The Effect of Color and Light on Mood by Boyce in 2003. These are actually really interesting discussions, right? The reason why I bring up these kind of psychological things, because they do get very sciencey, but if you want to design a space that helps you feel what you need to feel, okay, these are the things to read and to learn how to do that. Look, some of us are still working from home, or some of us have home environments that we work in. Wouldn't you rather your home be giving you what you need to balance yourself off, rather than your home be a place where it actually makes itself harder for you to do things? In craft, we will actually work from the ground up to design a space that makes people feel in the mood and ready to do craft work. And there's a whole lot of art and science behind this because we want to make things as easy as possible to do ritual. And part of that is designing a ritual space that makes it easy to do. Okay? So that's why I learned a lot of this. All right? I guess the best way to kind of go into this is try to find spaces with ample natural light and open spaces to make you feel more comfortable, energized, and relaxed, right? Color and texture play a significant role in mood. Warmer colors like golds, deep reds, earth tones often have a comforting, welcoming effect, while colder colors like grays and blacks, the colors that every home seems to be showing in rental spaces, can sometimes evoke feelings of sadness or detachment, okay? Art Deco's use of luxurious golds and bold colors may create a sense of vibrancy, but that brutalism, concrete, and cooler tones make people feel emotionally distant, right? You want your architecture to be scaled to human proportions, right? It tends to make people feel more at ease, right? Brutalism keeps things lower ceilings and smaller to make you feel smaller, right? While the detailed forms of Art Nouveau, where you have kind of larger ceilings, very grandiose ceilings, often actually, because of the garden and organic feel, they feel more intimate and personal, right? Which create a greater sense of connection. So I guess the best way to put it is, if you were going to design a space and you wanted it to feel grand and luxurious, like you're living in a space that makes you feel strong, think about redecorating in an Art Deco style. If you want your home to be a space of peace, a place of calm, a place that naturally puts people at ease, think about designing your home to look kind of like a wooden glade, right? A secret garden, if you will, right? I know some guys will be like, oh, Mike, that's kind of a little... Look, men hunted in forests for hundreds and hundreds of years because they wanted to get back to nature, and hunt animals. But being in that nature gave us purpose. So being in a natural space where it feels like a forest, an intimate forest, that's going to make you feel more in touch with your roots, believe it or not. Okay? So that's what I kind of recommend there. Now, there are, for those of us who don't want to read really wordy scientific journals, if you're just looking for books on it, right? To think about what you're living in and how you're living, I've got 3 really good ones this time, okay? The Architecture of Happiness by Alain de Botton, okay? Biophilia by Edward O. Wilson, okay? And Environmental Psychology, an Introduction by Robert Gifford, okay? Check these books out. They will help your life, okay? These are designed to help you think about the spaces you're living in, to help you design the spaces you're living in to be your own personal castle, where you can find your peace, where you can come into them and feel like this is where you belong, okay? And all 3 of those books will give you ideas on how to create that space. Ultimately, what you design is up to you, and I'm super curious what you guys take away from this, because this is kind of a weird topic, but when you think about how where we live affects our mood, perhaps some of the ways to fix how we're feeling all the time is to change what we're living in into what we need to be in to help us feel better. Think of it as like, the internet's going to clickbait me for this, but think of it as that weird psychological trick that therapists don't want you to know because it'll put them out of a job, right? I'm not saying that's going to be totally the effect, but in a world where the world seems designed to make us feel small, shouldn't you have a place that makes you feel grand, feel powerful, feel calm, feel in control, feel like you belong? And how great is it going to be when you have friends or relatives over and they recognize how great it feels to be in your space, how they want to be around your place because they want to experience the awe that you create by being in your space. Okay, everybody, I want to thank everyone for viewing. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you. Merry meet, merry part, merry meet again. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful week.